And welcome to Watch the Time and my long-term review of the SteelDive 1970, aka the homage to the Willard, the Seiko 6109. Let's just cover off the fact that this is a homage, but it is actually quite different, and it's got the SteelDive logo, so it's not, it's not a fake. It's not trying to be a Seiko. It's just, a very similar design. One of the main differences between this and the Willard is that the crown is at a completely different position. This crown is at about 4:15, whereas the Willard, the crown's at about 4:45. And what that does is actually make quite a big difference, because on the Willard, this section here is actually a lot longer, and to me this actually looks more balanced than the Seiko version, so I actually prefer this. The other thing is that the Seiko wouldn't have had sapphire crystal, it'd have hesselite, and the bezel was aluminium, not ceramic, as this one is, and this one is also loomed, and the Willard wouldn't have been loomed. And obviously it was black. This is like the green version, the emerald green, and you can just see there that beautiful emerald green dial with the applied markers, lovely handset. I love that second hand with the little red pip and the loom pip in it. So I want to talk about the quality of this watch first. We got to bear in mind that this watch is £100. So first of all, I'm going to point out the negatives, and on here there's only a couple. The first one is the alignment of the bezel. It's not horrendous, but if you look at the 3 o'clock marker, it just sits slightly high. Just there you can see it just sits slightly high. That's an interesting shot, because you get that the kind of the fake chapter ring, if you like, where you can see it through the edge of the glass. That is a feature of the Willard. It's not as prominent on this watch, but it is there in some circumstances where that minute track sort of looks like it's been doubled up around the edge there. Quite a nice little feature. It's not a feature, it's just the way the glass is put in. So, but it's a nice little thing. The other slight imperfection on this is, if you look at my date in the date window, it does sit ever so slightly low. Now, both of those are things that I've encountered with Seiko. Not so much the date in the date window, but the misalignment of bezels, of chapter rings, of markers. I've paid 4 times as much for a watch and had worse issues than this. And to be honest, that being slightly out, and that it just doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's not an issue. And we must bear in mind this is a £100 watch. Cheaper if you buy it direct from like on AliExpress from China or whatever, but I got this from the guy in the UK, SteelDive UK. I just think I'm supporting someone in the UK, and also they're doing some of the the checks when these come in, so it's less of a lottery as to whether or not you get a decent one. I just wanted to show you the casework, because the casework is absolutely beautiful. The polishing is really nice. The edges where it transitions from polish to brushing is really nice. There's a circular brush all the way around. It's a fairly coarse brush, but it's a tool watch, so I'm happy with that. I actually quite like that. The way the crown is integrated is absolutely beautiful, the way it sits in there. And just on the subject of this crown, which is signed, by the way, let's just unscrew it. It's one of the nicest crowns I've ever used. Although it's well guarded, it's easy to manipulate. The winding action is beautiful. Obviously this Hacks hand winds. The winding action is a pleasure. And when you just rotate it, pop, and then screw it in, it just seats beautifully, and it's just a pleasure to use. And it's not too fiddly. It's it's well protected, but it's still very usable. You've got their logo on the back there, the mask, fins, and dive tanks. I think that's really nice. Who wants to see I'm glad they didn't put a clear case back on this, or a see-through case back, because who wants to see another NH35? Whilst we're talking about the NH35, this one is running within 2 seconds a day. And that's within cost certification. That's with no adjustments. That's just how it wears on my wrist. and that's, you know, absolutely perfect for me. Very happy with that. Bezel action is fairly smooth because it's a 120 click, but they are definite clicks. There's, you know, a little bit of play in there, but it's yeah, it's a useful, pleasurable bezel to use, and it's fully loomed. It's ceramic. Personally, if I had a preference, I actually prefer aluminium bezels. I'm just going to show you the aluminium bezel on my Omega, and it's just the colour. It's a colour thing for me. The ceramic bezels sort of catch the light, and you know, you get that glassy effect, whereas an aluminium bezel, it's just different. And that, look at that blue on that Omega, it's absolutely gorgeous. Obviously I didn't have this watch when it's new, and it's very old now, but it's patinaing, if you want to call that, or fading. That blue, it's just to an absolutely beautiful colour. And you don't really get that with a ceramic bezel. A bit like on the Seikos, you know, these aluminium bezels, they patina, and sometimes they change colour. That might go a blue. You know, these bezels patina really nicely, the aluminium, whereas I think the ceramic is more likely to stay in a, you know, a really nice condition for longer. So you're going to have a watch that looks newer for longer. So it's one of those things, you like patina on your watch, or you actually like to keep them looking brand new. So initially this came with a green strap, which I just thought was too green for a green watch. So, but it was actually quite a nice strap, really nice, big, chunky buckle, nice and supple. A really nice strap. So I thought, I don't want to, you know, just throw it away, and I thought, well, that's going to work perfectly on my Citizen ProMaster Diver, and it absolutely does work perfectly, and that's really nice on this. So I've utilised the strap that came with the watch. I then put it onto this waffle, only a £13, you know, thing off eBay, but a really nice waffle strap, really good quality. So I've been wearing it on this, and it's been really nice. But I also wanted to give the bracelet another chance. So my issue with this bracelet was it was a bit heavy, which it was, but partly due to the fact that I've removed 4 links from it. So there's quite a bit of weight there that's now gone out of the strap. And you know, when I picked it up, first of all, I thought it was really heavy on this bracelet, but you know, I had 4 links in that I wouldn't normally have in a watch. So I took them out, and it's a little bit more palatable for me, a bit more what I'm used to. It's still a heavy, you know, it's a heavy watch on the bracelet. And the other issue was this buckle, or you know, this clasp, and it is, you know, as cheap as it gets really. So what I've done is I've ordered one off of AliExpress. They do like a milled clasp, and I've had a little bit of fiddle around, and I've got this better. I mean, it's still a little bit, you know, there's this movement here, but it's not bad. And I thought what I'll do is I'll give it a go. It's secure, it's never come off, and even if you do push one side, you've got to do both pushes together to release it. So the actual mechanism works fine. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. So I sized it up. I am sitting perfectly on the middle. That's exactly where you want it, on the middle, because if you get hot you can extend it, if you get cold you can just pull it in a bit. So I can get a perfect fit with this on the bracelet, which is nice. It actually changes the look quite a bit, especially compared to having the black waffle strap. It does change this watch, which is nice, because you can change it up and have a different look, and you know, I think that's always a good option. So there's the bracelet. It doesn't rattle or roll. It's solid links, solid end links, just push pins for adjustment, which is fine. Makes adjusting the bracelet nice and easy. The fit inside the case is reasonably good. There's no movement, and I'm really happy with it. So I've ordered a milled clasp to go on it. It only cost about £7, so I'm happy with that. And as soon as I get it, I'll fit that. Obviously it's coming from Spain or somewhere, so that'll be a couple of weeks before I get that, but no drama. This is working absolutely fine at the moment, and you know, at a pinch you could just keep this one, to be fair. And you know, it's okay. It's not very nice, but it's okay. But the one that I'm getting hopefully should be a little bit better and improve it. And I think the watch deserves it. It actually deserves a better clasp, because it is such a good watch. Okay, so I'm not affiliated in any way to SteelDive UK or the guy that works there. I think they're based in Cardiff or somewhere, and I know he sells from his website or on eBay. But I would 100% recommend picking one of these up. And I know he does some other watches. I've not looked at those, but I can 100% recommend this because I can't, other than the couple of little niggles, the bezel alignment and the date window sitting slightly low. It's a great watch for £100. It wears beautifully because of that cushion case, design, and the quality of the finishing is, I think, absolutely fantastic to me. And I wish I still had one of my Seiko Turtles. This is a better watch than the Seiko Turtle that I had. You wouldn't get sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel. The accuracy seems better than all the Seikos that I had. I know that Jody from Just One More Watch is getting one of these in for review, and he's going to put it up against the Willard, the actual Seiko Willard. And that'd be really interesting to see because I think this is going to do a really good job when it comes to. I mean, that Willard is £1,000, so this being £100. I think this is going to stack up really well when I compare it to, as I say, my previous Turtles that I've had. I mean, I've still got one Seiko, and again, you've got and as I say, some people might think it's a positive, some people might think it's a negative. Aluminium bezel, no loom on the bezel. We've got a misaligned bezel on here, as you would always get with pretty much every Seiko. And this is a £420 watch. This is a £100 watch. So, and we've got Hesselite crystal, we've got sapphire crystal on there. We've got 200 meters water resistant on both. Although this is a certified diver, and this one isn't certified. But I've got no issue with the fact that this is water resistant. I've got it wet. It's been in the shower and whatnot, and it's got wet, so no problems there whatsoever. And looking at the quality overall, I've got no issues with the water resistance of this watch. When you pay £100 for a watch, there's usually some real misgivings. You've either got a real cheapo Miyota movement or something like that that's all noisy and rattly, or the case finishing is not great, or the bezel doesn't have a very good action, or quite often the loom is just crap on a watch in this price range. The loom on this, and I'll put in a loom shot here, is great. It's not as good as my best one is my Omega, then the Citizen, then this and the Seiko are about the same, and the Dan Henry is crap, and the Speedmaster, it's got good loom, but there's just not much of it because it's not a dive watch, so it's got small batons. But this really holds up really well. And interesting, the loom in the bezel, which is a different colour, holds up really well, and it lasts almost as long as the hands and the indices. But I say it's probably just behind the Seiko, but that is a great testament to this. So all in all, for £100 you get a steel diver with sapphire glass, 200 meters of water resistance, a fully loomed ceramic bezel, a solid link steel bracelet with solid end links and a crappy clasp, but functional. A really nice, interesting case back, a lovely design, a comfortable, weighty watch, a reliable movement that in this case is deadly accurate, a beautiful crown action. I don't know how they do it. I feel like if I'd paid £250 for this watch, I would still be giving it a very good review. I might be a bit more critical about the bracelet, and I might be a little bit more critical about the date being slightly low in the window. But at the end of the day, I'd still be fairly happy with this watch at £250. It comes in a little plastic case, nothing fancy, but this has got stuff in it. I'm using the case that it come in. It's a useful thing. You get a bit of a guarantee with it. It's, I don't know. When you start looking at this and comparing it to much more expensive watches and the finish of the case and the casework, it is just fantastic. I mean, you can, if you look, find there's little bits like under here where see those lines and stripes just there. you know, that's not finished particularly well in there. But it's a difficult place to get to, and it's somewhere you're never going to look at unless you're doing what I'm doing now. So I can forgive it little things like that, but just overall it's an absolutely great watch, cheap as chips. I say I've got no affiliation with SteelDive UK where I got this from, but if you do buy a watch from him after watching this video, mention that you saw it on my video, because you never know, he might send me a free watch. I would, 100% recommend this watch. This watch, if you look at my collection now, it's it's not very many watches. The Dan Henry is probably going to go. That's probably going to get replaced soon. But other than that, when you look at the watches that this has beaten out, and the fact that this is staying in my collection, and part of that is because it's green and it's my only green watch. But it's while I've got it there, look at the blue. That polarizes people. Some people like the blue tint, some people don't. I don't like it particularly, but when I wear this watch, it doesn't actually bother me because you don't see it that often. It's just the way I'm holding the watch here. So normally when you're looking at the watch and it's on the wrist, it isn't an issue. It's lovely and clear, and the AR coating is not an issue. But I do understand that that's a bit too blue for some people, but it really actually on the wrist doesn't bother me at all. I was going to replace the crystal on this to get rid of it, but in the end I thought, do you know what, it doesn't actually bother me when I'm wearing it, so I haven't bothered. So just to wrap up this already too long video, wears great, keeps great time, great quality, absolute winner for me. I think it's a fairly popular watch. I quite like the idea of getting a black one as well at some point. I may do that in the future, but I'm not sure I want two watches identical apart from the colour. I don't know, I'll have a think about that, but at some point I might pick up a black one as well. But as it is, I'm just really enjoying this. I wear it actually quite a lot. It's all grubby inside, so apologies for that, but I am actually wearing this one quite a lot. It's becoming my sort of just daily wear beta watch when I'm mucking around the house and stuff, and for work. So I'll leave you with that shot of it ticking away beautifully there. The SteelDive 1970, cracking little watch for an absolute bargain in my opinion, and it's a pleasure to own. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.